The crazy love story angle between Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Dominik Mysterio is the hottest angle in WWE right now. And with Rhea Ripley's return, it's gotten even better. But what made this soap opera type of story so interesting? And for that, we need to understand, why did Liv start to hate Rhea so much? That she tried to steal her boyfriend, title, and group for revenge. A lot of people might think that this story has just started recently. But what many people seem to forget is that this now catfight between Liv and Rhea once started with them having a sisterly love as a tag team back in March of 2022, but they had their first match even before that, on the Valentine's, the 14th of February of that year. How ironic. The tag team Liv for Brutality would dominate the next month as a babyface tag team, and would go on to challenge for the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania 38 in a fatal four-way match. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the titles that night, as Sasha Banks and Naomi would win that match. And this is where things started getting heated between Liv and Rhea. After a couple of weeks, Liv for Brutality would compete in a match and lose, which caused Rhea Ripley to snap and turn heel on Liv. Rhea brutally attacked Liv, and this started their feud 2 years from today. Liv would attack Rhea Ripley backstage on next week's Raw, further building the rivalry. But another story was building at the same time. At WrestleMania Backlash, Edge was having a match with AJ Styles. AJ Styles was looking to perform a diving attack on Edge, and out of nowhere, a masked and covered person attacked AJ Styles, helping Edge to win. That person was revealed to be none other than Rhea Ripley. She was Edge's newest disciple, and on next night's Raw, Rhea would officially become a part of the Judgment Day. Shortly after that, Rhea would face Liv again, this time in the mixed tag team match, with Rhea tagging with Damian Priest and Liv with AJ Styles. Liv would lose again to Rhea Ripley. This loss didn't hold Liv back for long, as she would finally beat Rhea in a singles match shortly after. After having quite an unexpected banger match, Judgment Day would go on to win that match, giving Liv another L to Rhea. Later that year, Dominik would also join the Judgment Day after turning heel on his father, Rey Mysterio, and Edge, who got kicked out of his own faction. Liv and Rhea's rivalry would be put on hold for the rest of that year, but their next encounter would be quite a special one. It was the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble match, and Rhea Ripley was the first entrant, a fan favorite to win the Rumble. And who came at number 2? It was Liv Morgan. Rhea and Liv would outlast the other 28 women to the end of the Rumble. After an exciting back and forth, Rhea Ripley would eliminate Liv to win the Rumble and go on to face Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 39. And Liv, well, after taking an L to Rhea, she would face Rhea again and lose. Rhea Ripley would win the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania, and Liv, she would try again in the tag team scene with another big woman, Raquel Rodriguez. Liv would actually win the tag team titles this time. After taking so many L's, Liv was finally seeing some success, and this wouldn't sit well with Rhea Ripley, as she would attack both Liv and Raquel backstage, injuring Raquel in the process. And this was very bad for Liv Morgan, as they had to defend their titles later that night. Due to Raquel's injury, they couldn't retain the titles and would lose them to Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. And just like that, Liv's happiness was taken away from her by her worst nightmare, Rhea Ripley. Liv was furious and would attack Ripley later that night, and this was going to lead to another grudge match next week on Raw, but Rhea would attack Liv before the match and injure her in the process. After this, Rhea would dominate the women's division, develop a relationship with Dominik, and would become mommy. And Liv, well, she was put on the shelf for 6 months and would make her return in the 2024 Women's Rumble match. She didn't win it, but Liv would officially start the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour shortly after that. She vowed to take away everything from Rhea Ripley, and it didn't take long for Liv to start. After a successful title defense against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 40, Rhea Ripley was walking with Dominik on next night's Raw, and all of a sudden, Liv hit Rhea with a chair, brutally attacking and injuring her in the same way Rhea had done in the past. This led to Rhea Ripley vacating her Women's World Championship. Liv took away her title, as she promised. After Mommy left, Dominik would look to take revenge on Liv for Rhea by trying to cost her title, but would instead accidentally help her win. Dominik would try to fix his mistake on the next Raw, where Liv Morgan was set to defend her title against Becky Lynch in a steel cage match, and somehow, some way, Dominik would again accidentally help Liv to retain. But the major turning point in the story happened after the match. Liv was walking back to the stage, celebrating her win, but out of nowhere, she kissed Dominik like a crazy girl. This was the exact moment everything truly started to turn around. Our boy, Dominic Guerrero, felt kinda guilty, but there were also signs that he was attracted to Liv as well. Liv took Rhea's boyfriend too. She would try to seduce and harass Dom constantly for the next few weeks, and would also try to become a part of the Judgment Day too, by helping them win the tag titles back. All of the Judgment Day would accept her, except for one man, Damian Priest. Rhea and Damian had a great sibling-like bond, and Damian didn't appreciate Liv trying to take Rhea's spot, and this leads leads us to the recent events. Damien indirectly warned Dominik on Raw after beating his deadbeat Poppy in a mixed tag match. Liv would try to seduce Dominik again, and Dom, it looked like he was kinda liking it this time. But then all of a sudden, Rhea's music hit. Dominik realized what brutality is, and he looked like he just saw a ghost. Liv got scared the shit out of her. Damien was laughing backstage, and there she was. Mommy had just returned and she was mad. Dominik tried to welcome her back and hug her, but Mommy said, F you. She wasn't having none of that. And on the latest episode of Monday Night Raw, Rhea Ripley called out Liv Morgan. She said that Liv had something of hers, and Rhea wasn't talking about Dominik. Mommy wants her title back. She said she'll get to Dominik later. Dominik came out and tried to make it up to Rhea with flowers, but she said F you. Liv Morgan then came on the big screen, and she says that she has actually started to catch feelings for Dominik now, and it's official. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan at SummerSlam for the Women's World Championship. Later that night, we got more drama when Liv interfered in Dominik's match with Jey Uso, and they were having a moment again. Rhea scared Liv again. This storyline is just getting crazy now. Now, what we need to understand is that this Rhea Ripley is a much more complex character than the one we saw before. She is mad and feels like she's been cheated, but she also prioritizes her title and wants it back. Rhea's a much more sympathetic character now. She was already over like a baby face before, but she'll actually be a face now instead of a heel. And for Liv, she'll obviously be a heel. But is she really a bad person? You see, it's not a you are wrong, I'm right type of situation. It never is. Liv's actions are purely driven by Rhea Ripley's attacks and betrayal on her, causing her to become so obsessed with revenge. Some would say that she's taking it a bit too far. And for Dominik, well, the guy already had a complex, traumatic relation with his dad. Now this. Dominik finds himself in a very weird position. On one hand, he has a deep connection with Rhea Ripley, who has been his ally, mentor, and lover within the Judgment Day. On the other hand, Liv Morgan's relentless pursuit and unexpected affection have created emotions he didn't anticipate. Dominik's loyalty is being tested, and his decisions will have significant repercussions for all involved. Dominik's choice will be a pivotal moment in the storyline. If he chooses Rhea, it could reinforce his loyalty to the Judgment Day and set up a united front against Liv. However, if he chooses Liv, it could lead to a dramatic split from the faction. This decision will not only affect his character arc, but also the dynamics within the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day's reaction to this unfolding drama will be crucial. Damian Priest, who has a sibling-like bond with Rhea, is likely to oppose Liv's inclusion and her attempts to replace Rhea. Finn Balor and other members might be more pragmatic, focusing on the faction's strength and success. This internal conflict could lead to power struggles and shifts in leadership within the group. Liv Morgan's feelings towards Dominik are complex. While her initial actions were driven by a desire for revenge against Rhea, there are signs that her feelings for Dominik might be genuine. Her constant attempts to seduce and support him suggest that she sees more in him than just a pawn in her revenge plan. However, whether her affection is genuine or another strategic move remains to be seen. One thing is for sure, this storyline will definitely be one of the most memorable in recent memory. These faction storylines are always interesting. Take Bloodline, for example, who are on the way to have a civil war with each other. But their newest member, Jacob Fatu, would never have even started his wrestling career if it weren't for the Usos. How? You can watch the video on the screen for that.